What up, though? And welcome back to growNman. It's your man John D in the building. So disappointed because I just shot a wonderful episode and I didn't record. But I'm going to do my best to give you the nuggets that I've discovered becoming a father. I do want to say that being a father at this point in my life is probably the most difficult part because I'm trying to give them everything that I've learned and still give them a discipline that doesn't hurt their feelings. And when I say that, I mean, like, you know how fathers are known to discipline children? I want to be able to discipline where they understand it's good for them, not because I said so. And that's really difficult to do if that's all you've seen. And I'm actively trying to figure out how I can say the right words without creating this emotional hurt, you know? And I think that my father used to do it to me. When he opened his mouth, it was just like, what is he gonna say now? And then as I got older, you know, that's just the way that he talks. But I don't want my kids to feel like that now. And where I am as a father has been really difficult because I don't want to give those vibes, which I do. And doing that, I've asked my wife for help. And I have given her an anxiety because the way that it sounds between my son and I is like we're beefing. And we're not beefing. But she is taking it that way because of the way that I've addressed it to her. And I want to say this, I was being vulnerable to her because I didn't know what I was doing. And I saw that their relationship was the way that it was. And I was like kind of asking for guidance. And I think I put too much responsibility on her where she felt like she was in the middle. And I created an energy in her that I didn't know that I could create, but I didn't even know I was doing it. I thought I was being like the new age man where I could tell my wife, you know, this is where I am. But I guess the way that I told it to her, it felt like she was almost responsible for trying to help me figure this out. And I'm saying all of that is that this is really my first time, you know, really trying to figure out how I could become a better father for my son. And I've been working on this, but I didn't know that this was hindering me. Like, because when I talk to him, I can see his face, his energy just like, and that bothers me as his father. And I don't know how to change that at this point. And I was asking her to deliver messages and why is he not doing this? And didn't realize what I was doing to her. But I'm telling you all this because in fatherhood, there are going to be things you don't know, you know, and you have to believe that you're doing the best you can. I do know that when he gets older, he's going to understand my intent. But I want him to understand now because that's what's the relationship I'm trying to create is like, you know, he wants me to be around. I'll give you an example. There was a time a few years ago where I said, if they're ever all together somewhere, if they're leaving, I want to be with them because I want those moments. And then recently I've decided that I can't do that because I bring so much more. I bring an energy that is not laid back. You know, my wife is more cool. Me, I'm more, what are you doing today? What have you been doing? What are you working on? It's always, how can you get better? Because the biggest gift I want to give my kids is the understanding that it is a process to completion. Whatever you think you want, if you want to be good in it, you got to do more than the people around you. Typically, the people around you are really average. I was in a group recently with a group of men, and the speaker said it was 73% average people. I disagree. I believe it's way more than that. I think it's definitely over 90%. And the reason why I believe that is because average is subjective. But to be better than average is to do more than the people around you. And I want my kids to know that the people around you are not working as hard as they could be. Therefore, you aren't. And if you don't have anybody to push you, which I do believe that is my job as their father, is to pushed them in a direction past the boundary to get a result they didn't know they could get. Because struggle scares people. And if you don't have struggle, you can't see how strong you are. And sometimes you just need somebody to push you. Those of you that don't know, I'm a 6th and 7th grade math teacher. And I have students that don't do work. So I talk to them. I'm like, hey, do you want me to stop pushing you? Because it seemed like every time I come over here, I irritate you, and I don't want to do that. They was like, they was thinking, I was like, I just want you to know, if you decide that you want me to stop pushing you, I need you to tell your family. I need you to tell your parents. I was like, why would you say that? I said, if you tell your parents that Mr. Lewis has stopped pushing you, they're going to wonder why. And if they wonder why, they're going to come talk to me. And then I can tell them why I've stopped pushing you. And then they would think, and I was like, no, I wouldn't want you to stop pushing me. I want to get better. And that is what I'm trying to get from my kids. My kids in my household, because the way that I speak to the students out there, some of them don't like it. But I told them I'm working on my communication, and my tone sometimes sound a lot more aggressive. But at the end of the day, I want you to do well. And they believe that. They bought into that. And I don't think my kids have bought into it. My own personal kids. They know that I love them. But when I push them, it seems like, why? And they don't understand that if you don't have anybody pushing you, you've got to be something special, to have something inside of you to push you further than the people around you. And I don't believe my kids have that. I believe that has to be taught. I do believe that there are exceptions, but I know who my kids are. And since they don't have it, I want to show them the process of completion. And sometimes when I'm showing them these things, it's always, I don't even know how to explain it. I wouldn't say it's always a problem, but it's like, I don't want it. I don't want that. Or at least that's what they make me believe. Like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I just want them to know whatever they decide that they want in life, I want them to know that they can get it, but it's going to take an effort that their environment are not practicing, and something that they're going to have to put in to develop something they haven't seen. And some of the best things you've seen in the world took a long time to create. And I think social media and television, radio, that's so far away from you. When I say far, you don't know what they did to become that good. But when you see it on TV, it's like, I can do that too. You know, I hear parents upset about kids that want to be influencers and social media stars or whatnot. They're looking like that's an easier route. And people don't realize, like, a lot of the videos y'all see, some of those videos won't be around 4 or 5 years from now, because they're going to learn that the process was way longer than they thought was going to be. If you don't put the work in, you can't receive those fruits. I've seen podcasts come and go. And the reason why I'm using this is because I do podcasts. You guys are watching this. So I'm going to do this for the remainder of my existence. And you know who gets to watch? My kids. My kids get to see my father was determined to share information to help other men, parents, and people in the areas that he likes. He did it very often. He did it because he enjoyed it. Like, I don't do this to expect any type of financial return, although I know it's going to come. I do this because I'm trying to give information that could have helped me during my walk. And sometimes this can be like a therapy session for me to discuss, you know, the type of father or husband I am. But overall, it's to share some of my mistakes, some of my own research, so that maybe it'll spark an interest in you to find out how important you are. And being that I take fatherhood very seriously, I want to find a better way to not create the trauma that, you know, kids go through, because they have their own perspective by now. But I only want to give them what any parent want to give them, you know, things that make them do well when they leave us. So hopefully I can create this relationship I want with my son before he leaves. I got 3 years, and I am going to do my very best to improve this area. And when I say that, me and my son are not beefing. It just doesn't look like the relationships that you see on television or you hear about. Sometimes I see relationships on TV, on social media. Like, I see the hard work and I see the smiles, but I don't see the day-to-day interaction. And I believe that the day-to-day interaction is what I need to work on to create that feeling for my kids. I didn't realize how much stress I was giving my wife because I was asking my wife for feedback as if she knows how to be a father, but she's a great parent. And I was using her as like the middleman to be the liaison between my son and I. And she took it in a way that I didn't expect her to take it in. And when I say that, she wanted to help, but she wanted our relationship to be what I thought it should be. And I didn't realize how much of it was weighing on her. And I'm saying this because I was vulnerable with my wife by giving her the information. Like, I don't know. My father wasn't the best communicator, and I didn't really like him until I became an adult. And I wanted my son to love me like he appreciated me in a different way, because I didn't get to appreciate my father until I got older. And I don't want any kid to go through that, let alone my own. But that is the road that I've been traveling, and I wanted to share, like, fatherhood. It's like not knowing what you're supposed to do. All you're going to do is use the behaviors that you know from your childhood, try to take out the ones that didn't work for you, try to use the ones that you think did work for you, and hope that you're creating a better product. But sometimes you take away things that they probably needed and you don't know until you get older. So that is the ignorance of fatherhood that kind of scares me. I also want to make sure that when I'm talking to them, then I'm delicate enough for them to not be offended, but at the same time, I needed that. I haven't been able to decipher that because everything I say is not delicate. The tone sounds real aggressive, like I'm not even their father. It's like, probably I am of their father. It's like an old school father. Do as I say. And I don't even want it to sound like that, so I'm not even doing it on purpose. So through me looking for new information, having conversations with fathers that are awesome, hopefully I can rub off on my son and he can receive the messages while he's still in the house. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA, get after that action, or the action will get after you. Be great on purpose.